let's go over this Diane Feinstein thing, because at this juncture, in terms of legislation, there's potentially two pieces of legislation. There's the one that Diane Feinstein drafted in response to the Green New Deal coming out of the House. And then there's the Green New Deal. And there will not be anybody sponsoring the demise of capitalism in the meantime. And it's quite possible that that under our under capitalism, we're not going to be able to address this. And if that's the case, you know, it's really more just about planning for the day after, or you know, when there's a broader understanding of how devastating the global climate change will or may will
be. Majority report in 2060 will be: can capitalism help us recover from climate change?
Yeah, exactly.
Can capitalism get my house out from underwater?
But here is these kids. Most of them are kids. There's some moms of the kids and maybe a dad or two.
Activists, as Glenn Beck would call them.
Yes, they're activists. And they're from the group, which number
Sunrise
is this?
Movement.
Oh, yeah, Sunrise Movement. And like I said earlier, these are the people who occupied Nancy Pelosi's office. They occupied Mitch McConnell's office today. But they know, and this is very reasonable, there's only one party that has the potential to address this. That party may not address it, but there's only one party that has even the potential to address it. And there's only one party where these people may have some leverage with. That's why they're protesting Democrats. That's why when people wanted to protest about DACA years ago, they did it with Barack Obama, who didn't want to move anywhere on DACA. But those protests that were considered rude at that time, trying to make Barack Obama look bad, were highly effective in the end. I would say the same thing with marriage equality. But here are these kids from the Sunrise Movement, and they're talking about, they're about to go see Diane Feinstein.
We're gonna go in and share this letter, and we're gonna do it all together. Yeah. Share it in front of Feinstein. We're asking her to vote yes on the Green New Deal.
We are trying to ask you to vote yes on the Green New Deal.
Please.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We have our own Green New Deal.
Some scientists have said that we have 12 years to turn this around.
Well, it's not going to get turned around in 10 years. What we can do,
Senator, if
is
this
put
doesn't get turned around in 10 years, you're looking at the faces of the people who are going to be living with these consequences.
The government is supposed to be for the people and by the people and all for the people.
You know what's interesting about this group is I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway. I don't respond to that. I've gotten elected. I just ran. I was elected by almost 1 million vote plurality. And I know what I'm doing. So, you know, maybe people should listen a little bit.
I hear what you're
Pause
saying.
it now. I just want to be clear. That segment there was not edited. She said all that. Now, granted, as the video goes on later, we'll play a little moment of that, she softens a little bit, but make no mistake about what this conversation is. And in addition to being condescending and dismissive and relying on her authority and the fact that she got elected, which are completely irrelevant to this. I mean, I could see her saying, like, look, I've been at this a long time and I know how we can take the first steps in this. But I watched the whole video. There was none of that. She does argue that this is the one thing that we could get past. But they made the point. We know nothing's going to pass. We know nothing's going to pass as long as Republicans have power. Because even if you could pass it in the Senate, it's not going to pass. Donald Trump is going to veto it. They say, you can vote for both. You can vote yes for both. And she keeps brushing that off because that's the thing she doesn't want to answer. She doesn't want to answer why you won't vote for both. She tries to make it about, you got to be practical. And then she tries to make it about, you got to trust me. And she tries to make it about, you got to respect me. But she will not answer why she won't vote for both. Even the people, I mean, look at someone like the other senator from California, Kamala Harris. She signed on to all 3 different versions of potential health care reform in the Senate as co-sponsor. So you could shoot for the moon, she could argue, shoot for the moon, but I want to be there too for the possible practical solutions. But Diane Feinstein doesn't want to even open the door to that. She is not making the argument to these kids, I know how to build this. This takes some skill. And I have the skill, and you can trust me to have this skill because I'm going to pass this, and then we're going to pass that. She doesn't have the respect for these kids or the fortitude to say, I'm not going to vote for that. That's too radical. That's too dramatic. She doesn't do that. Instead, she shames them, she this and that, and when it doesn't work and she realizes she's got to go, she starts warming up a little bit. But continue here.
I hear what you're saying, but we're the people who voted you. You're supposed to listen to us. That's your
How old are you?
job.
How old
I'm
are you?
16. I
Well,
can't
you didn't vote for me.
Well,
I'm
she
24.
voted.
It doesn't matter. We're the ones who's going to be
Words mean
impacted.
something.
It doesn't matter. We're going to be the ones who are impacted.
I understand that. I have 7 grandchildren. I understand it very well.
Pause it. I can't be a misogynist. I have a mom. I have a daughter. I have a cousin who's a woman. Ask the moms. Continue.
Senator, the cost of
And-
not taking this action is far higher than the cost of what the Green New Deal will be. And there
Here's
is
what-
enormous popularity for this bill around
Okay.
the whole country.
Here's
And we're
what
asking you to
we
be
are
brave and
proposing.
do this for us and for your grandchildren.
Get enough for everyone. I'm trying to do the best I can, which was to write a responsible resolution.
Any plan that doesn't
has-
take bold,
Okay.
transformative action is not going to be what we need.
Well, you know better than I do. So I think one day you should run for the Senate.
Great, I
And
will.
then you do it your way.
But by
We have
that
a letter
time,
But in the meantime,
by that time, there's
I
going to be a
just
big problem.
I
We
just
have a
won a
letter
big
for you.
election.
She won a big election. Now, for all fairness, a lot of people are like, oh, you're just putting out the edited version of the 15-minute exchange or 20-minute exchange. I watched the unedited version. And yes, there are moments where towards the end, like I say, in fact, let's play the denouement here, where they start to usher the kids out of the thing. And one of the staffers even said, like, I'm for conservation. I like to backpack, which is not in any way condescending or missing of the point at all.
I'm reassured about the future of the planet.
Yes. I'm for conservation. Like, conservation? What? What the F are you talking about? Guess what, buddy? You'll be able to backpack. A lot of people will be backpacking. A lot of people are going to be backpacking. You won't be able to be backpacking because you're going to be dead. You're going to be old or dead, like me. But when people come in to talk about climate change and you say, I'm with you, I like to backpack, you might be giving away a little bit too much of the narrative. But put that aside. I'm not going to hold Diane Feinstein responsible for one of her staffers. I mean, I imagine she hired him, but whatever. But here is the moment that redeems everything for Diane Feinstein, according to those who said you're being too mean by passing around an edited video.
So you see exactly what happens with things. So you have an understanding of what can get done. All right. It's been hours in futile pursuit when if you work something in a certain way, it can get done. I believe this
Pause
can
it. Here she is talking about we need to focus on what can pass with the Republicans in the Senate. But this is absurd because we know that Donald Trump's not going to sign off on this. And so what she's doing is just as futile in terms of the ultimate goal as promoting the Green New Deal. And I would argue it's even more futile because if you're going to lose big, win the principle, set it up for the next time when you do have more votes. Nobody, you're pre-negotiating against yourself and looking at these kids and saying, you don't get it? You idiots? No, I'm not saying idiot. I'd actually even give you an internship.
Done. So before you criticize it, read it. That's all.
I will. Okay. How can I start an internship here?
You want to do an internship here? You got one.
I can give you my card.
Yeah. She can have an internship. Sure. Okay.
Is that a promise?
Isha Clark.
Hi, Isha. Thank you. He's the head man. And Isha Clark will do an internship here, Jim.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Please vote yes on the
Jim ain't too happy. I can imagine. I can assure you that. There it is. There was the big magnanimous thing. She basically said, "You kids don't get it. I've been here for 30. I don't get in a million years, frankly, whether her victory was by 1 vote or 10 million votes. Why that has." I mean, so she doesn't have to listen to them, or they automatically are wrong because she won by so many votes? I don't understand why that's brought up.
Yeah, popular people's opinions hold more weight than unpopular people's. It's like a law of nature.
I wonder if she says that to the industry folks that come in. Look, which is actually probably more relevant.
I would love
frankly.
to say it to those people.
That's
You know how much I won by? California Gas Company.
exactly. I wonder if those words. I mean, I suppose that I mean, maybe it was, but
Yeah, stuff like that just reminds me that despite my left critiques of the Green New Deal as a necessary but insufficient solution, we still got to do it. And it's pissing off a lot of the right people.
it's not. I mean, newsflash. You don't have to be 7 or 10 to understand that Donald Trump is going to veto anything. That in any way, they are assembling a team of basically paid scientists who will say that there's no climate change. But we're gonna find a happy medium that what?